You open your eyes as the morning light filters through the curtains, and the first thing you feel is that familiar, stubborn weight around your midsection. You slept for a full 8 hours, and your stomach has been empty since dinner, yet the belly fat remains untouched. Biologically, you should be a fat-burning furnace in this fasted state, but within the first 45 minutes of your day, you might be unconsciously programming your cells to hoard every calorie instead. This is not a failure of willpower, but a consequence of the cortisol awakening response, a natural hormonal spike that reaches its zenith just as you wake up. If you navigate this window with precision, you can ride a wave of energy that activates your metabolic machinery for the entire day. However, most people inadvertently turn this natural signal into a chronic emergency, forcing the body to lock its visceral fat bunker tight. Today, we move beyond simple motivation to build a biomechanical protocol designed to convince your nervous system that it is finally safe to burn energy. To understand why your morning routine dictates your waistline, we must look at the microscopic gatekeepers of your metabolism, specifically an enzyme called lipoprotein lipase, or LPL. This enzyme acts as a master switch for fat storage, pulling energy from your bloodstream and locking it deep inside your fat cells. While LPL exists throughout your body, your visceral fat cells are uniquely sensitive because they possess up to 4 times more glucocorticoid receptors than any other fat tissue. This means your belly is literally listening for stress signals. And in the early hours of the day, your body is in its most chemically vulnerable state. You wake up in a state of natural dehydration with low blood volume, while your brain is still finishing the task of clearing out metabolic waste. When you introduce the wrong signals during this fragile window, such as the harsh artificial blue light of a smartphone or the immediate diuretic punch of caffeine, you amplify the cortisol response to dangerous levels. This amplified signal activates the LPL enzyme, essentially broadcasting a message to your entire system to prepare for a coming famine and store every available resource. This explains why even the healthiest salad at lunch can be diverted into fat storage. Your body is simply following the hormonal commands you issued at 7 in the morning. We must replace these emergency signals with safety signals. When the body feels threatened, it prioritizes survival over aesthetics, clinging to visceral fat as a vital energy reserve for a crisis that never comes. By understanding that your belly fat is a biological response to perceived danger, we can begin to use specific physiological levers to lower the alarm bells. We are not just talking about habits. We are talking about rewriting the hormonal code that governs where your energy goes. This protocol is about shifting from a state of reactive survival to one of proactive abundance, where the body no longer feels the need to defend its fat stores. Instead of fighting your biology with restrictive diets that further spike stress, we are going to align with the body's natural rhythms to make fat loss a secondary effect of a balanced endocrine system. This journey begins the moment you wake up, not with a task, but with a series of biological handshakes that tell your brain the environment is secure and the resources are plentiful. The first metabolic mistake most people commit is reaching for a cup of coffee before anything else, which is a significant error in human physiology. After 8 hours of sleep, your body has lost roughly 1 full liter of water through the simple act of breathing and metabolic processing. This leaves your blood viscous and thick, forcing your heart to work physically harder to pump this heavy fluid through your vascular system. This mechanical strain is a direct trigger for cortisol production before your feet even touch the floor. Your adrenal glands, those vital organs perched atop your kidneys, are the primary producers of cortisol, and they require a very specific mineral balance to function without panic. They run on a delicate ratio of sodium and potassium, and providing plain water is often insufficient to quench this cellular thirst. The first step in our protocol is the adrenal cocktail, a large glass of room temperature water mixed with a pinch of high-quality sea salt, or pink Himalayan salt. This is not just for hydration. Sodium is a powerful dampener of the stress response. When your sodium levels are low, the body is forced to produce more aldosterone and adrenaline just to maintain adequate blood pressure, which keeps you in a state of low-grade anxiety. By providing salt immediately, you signal to your kidneys and adrenals that the internal environment is stable. Adding a squeeze of fresh lemon provides necessary potassium and supports liver function, effectively lowering the biological alarm bells of the morning. This simple act changes the texture of your blood and the tone of your nervous system, transitioning you from a state of thick, stressful circulation to a fluid, calm flow. It is the difference between starting a car with no oil and starting one that has been perfectly lubricated. When your blood flows easily, your heart rate remains lower, and your brain receives a clear signal that the body is not in a state of physical emergency. This hydration step sets the foundation for every other hormonal interaction that follows. Without this mineral base, your body remains on edge, viewing every subsequent task as a mountain to climb. By nourishing the adrenals first, you give them the resources they need to handle the natural morning cortisol spike without letting it spiral into a chronic state of fat storage. This is the first safety signal of the day, a fundamental requirement for unlocking the energy trapped in your visceral fat. Your entire metabolic engine is governed by a master clock located in the brain known as the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This biological timer dictates the precise moments your body should release cortisol for energy and melatonin for repair. If this clock falls out of sync, your cortisol remains elevated throughout the day and night, creating a tired but wired state that is the primary driver of visceral fat accumulation. The only way to accurately set this clock is through the specific light spectrum of the morning sun. While many people rely on overhead LED lights or phone screens, these provide only about 500 lux of artificial blue light, which is biologically confusing. This weak signal is insufficient to trigger a full wake-up response, but is just enough to cause low-grade anxiety. To fix this, you must step outside within the first 30 minutes of waking to expose your eyes to the 10,000 lux of full-spectrum solar light available even on a cloudy day. This light hits the retina and travels directly to the hypothalamus, triggering a healthy, sharp release of cortisol followed by a necessary steep drop. This sets a timer for the production of serotonin, which will later convert into melatonin for sleep, engineering your rest 14 hours in advance. Parallel to this light signal is the essential 90-minute caffeine rule. Throughout the day, a molecule called adenosine builds up in your brain, creating sleep pressure. While you sleep, your brain's lymphatic system clears it out. But upon waking, there is always residual adenosine left behind. If you drink coffee immediately, the caffeine molecules block the adenosine receptors, creating an artificial alertness while the adenosine continues to pile up behind a metaphorical dam. When the caffeine eventually wears off in the afternoon, that dam breaks, causing a massive energy crash. Your body reacts to this sudden plummet by releasing more cortisol to compensate, which drives intense sugar cravings and evening fat storage. By waiting 90 minutes, you allow your body to clear that residual adenosine naturally. This ensures that when you finally do consume caffeine, it serves as a performance enhancer rather than a metabolic crutch, protecting your system from the afternoon spike that sabotages your fat loss goals. The final pillars of our protocol involve movement and the protection of your mental landscape. While many are told to engage in high-intensity exercise in the morning to boost metabolism, this can be counterproductive if you are already struggling with high stress and visceral fat. Intense exertion creates a hypoxia signal, or a lack of oxygen, which can spike cortisol even higher in a body that already feels unsafe. The superior alternative is forward ambulation, specifically walking, which engages a powerful neurological mechanism called optic flow. As you move forward and images pass by your eyes, this visual data creates a direct connection to the amygdala, the fear center of your brain. Studies have demonstrated that this rhythmic flow of information quiets the amygdala and lowers systemic anxiety and cortisol levels. Evolutionarily, walking forward signaled that we were hunting, exploring, or moving toward better resources, which are all signs of agency and control. Conversely, being still while stressed signaled that we were trapped or hiding, which only further engages the survival response. A simple 10 to 15 minute walk outside combines the solar light signal with this movement signal, providing a double dose of safety to your biochemistry. It tells your body that you are active, in control, and secure, which is the exact state required to unlock the energy stored in visceral fat bunkers. To protect this newly established baseline of calm, you must implement a mindset shield by delaying the use of your smartphone for the first 30 minutes of the day. Opening social media or email the moment you wake up floods your brain with dopamine and cortisol simultaneously. You are immediately forced to react to other people's emergencies, bad news, and social comparisons, which triggers the sympathetic nervous system's fight or flight response before you have even stood up. By protecting your peace during this window, you allow the parasympathetic nervous system to establish a baseline of metabolic health. A brain that begins the day in a reactive mode is a brain that stays in a stress mode, keeping fat-locking cortisol levels high. In conclusion, this protocol is a comprehensive alignment of your hydration, your circadian rhythm, and your nervous system. By drinking your adrenal cocktail, seeking natural light, delaying caffeine for 90 minutes, and walking to engage optic flow, you stop fighting your biology and start flowing with it. You are dropping the unnecessary stress that holds fat in place and encouraging your body to use its own fuel sources with efficiency. Weight loss then becomes a natural side effect of a balanced, healthy system. Fix your morning, and the visceral fat will become far easier for your body to access and reduce over time. I look forward to seeing the transformation in your energy and your health as you implement these changes. Would you like me to help you design a personalized schedule to integrate these 5 steps into your specific daily routine?